It's been everything.
It's been like a great experience.
I had the opportunity to have a mentor who helped me get my confidence back, but also pushing me and really holding me accountable for things that we talked about.
It's been very educational. He lets me know what the new trends are in content marketing.
Having someone outside of my company who can give me like a fresh perspective on like how I'm working on things or why certain things failed or can be better the next time around has really helped me grow as a content strategist.
What I have truly enjoyed is the opportunity to be able to both give and receive from the relationship.
The program's great. I get a lot of value out of it. I'm workshopping my own challenges as well as theirs. I was coming up with a new business model, and I called up one of my mentees and I said, hey, can I just run this by you? Because I'm not sure, and I'd like to get your take on it. So it's very much a two-way street.
It's probably one of those little known things that CMI offers that can make a huge difference for the people who are involved in it.
Hello, everyone. It's Amanda once again with the Content Marketing Institute. Thank you for joining me for this Ask the CM World community live stream, where each time we dive into a new topic with an awesome member of our CM World community. And if you don't know by now, today's live stream is brought to you by the Content Marketing Institute. We are the leading training and education organization for, you guessed it, all things content marketing. So you can head over to contentmarketinginstitute.com for all kinds of resources and educational content. A couple things to note: we still have our call for speakers open for our signature event, Content Marketing World. Or we are also accepting applications for our awesome mentorship program. So those links are running, see you're running down on the bottom of the screen there, so you can check those out. All right, today I am so excited. A public utility, the Northeast Ohio Sewer District in Cleveland, Ohio, is a great example of how to do social media marketing well. And if you haven't heard of them, you should follow them immediately. Maybe wait till after this live stream, but go and follow them on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. We'll talk about more where you can find them all. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. You'll find a mix of educational and public service announcements on infrastructure, wastewater treatment. Boring, you say? Oh, no. You'll also get witty poetry, potty jokes, sports memes, pop culture references, and so much more. They've managed to create loyalty and engagement that brands and companies can only dream of. So today we are going to chat with the mastermind behind their social accounts. And if you think it's weird that I'm fangirling over here, please just stick around and you will see why. All right, if you've been here before, you know the drill. As you join me today, please give me a virtual wave. Say hello. Let me know where you're joining us from. Ask questions and comments. It always makes for more engaging live stream when we hear from all of you. All right, I'm going to kick off today's live stream with a question. So what are some of your favorite social media accounts? Are there brands or companies or even public utilities that are doing it really well? Feel free to share a link or share the handles in the comments. We'd love to see some of your favorite brand accounts and share why. What do they do that is so great and you love to follow them? All right, Lisa's joining us from Detroit. So again, say hello. Hello, Lisa. Let us know where you're joining us from. All right, today I'm going to do something a little different. Before I introduce our awesome guests, for those of you who aren't familiar with the Northeast Ohio Sewer District, I don't know how many of that are you, because in Cleveland, everybody loves them. But we're going to run a little video here to give you an idea of some of the content that they create and share on social media. So take a look here. You'll find a mix of content you might expect from a public utility: educational information on infrastructure, stormwater management, even historical background.
The Cuyahoga always has been and must be a working river.
You'll get great customer service and critical public service announcements, but you'll also get pop culture references. Sports memes, mostly based on Cleveland sports teams, and you'll get it all with a healthy dose of personality, humanity, and empathy. And of course, no shortage of potty humor.
There once was a man who had to go. The name of the man was Billy Sparrow. The man stood up and grabbed some wipes. Oh no, my Billy boy, no. Soon may the sewer man come to unclog our pipes so our flows may run.
I mean, it's a sewer district after all. The sewer district comes across as human, genuine, and fun, and funny. And that magical mix resonates with audiences from around the world. And most importantly, wipes are not flushable. All right, joining me today is John Gonzalez. He is the communications manager and he handles the social media for Northeast Ohio Sewer District. John, I think the most important takeaway since 2020 was the wipes are not flushable. How many times you tweeted that?
We always want to make sure we reinforce that message as often as possible. And we've had people who say their habits have changed as a result of our Twitter account. So we'll take that as a compliment.
That's great. I mean, you were tweeting about it a lot. So that was a great public service announcement. Mm-hmm. We have people joining us from all over today. Pierre's coming from Gary, Indiana. We have Mark. He shared his favorite Twitter account is the Milwaukee Public Library. On Instagram is a masterclass in how to enforce your brand and create goodwill. Someone else said Wendy's. Shannon says Aldi has been killing it on TikTok as well. Super interactive. Hello to Lavinia from Toronto. We have several people here from Cleveland as well. So thank you all for joining us. So let's get started, John. For the people who don't know, what is the Northeast Ohio Sewer District? What do they do?
So the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District is a public stormwater and sewage utility. We manage wastewater and stormwater across 62 communities in Northeast Ohio. Our primary responsibility is treating wastewater and putting clean water back into Lake Erie, and also managing the water in streams, a regional stream network, more than 400 miles of streams here in this region, to ensure that the streams are safe and flowing properly, and that water quality is protected across the region. So that's we're treating 90 billion gallons of water a year, putting that water safely back into Lake Erie. So it literally is a public service. And as a utility, we've been doing so for now more than 50 years, serving the region.
All right, so let's give everyone a quick rundown. I did a lot from Twitter and a little from TikTok there, but give us a rundown of some of the content you're creating and producing, and what platforms are you using?
Sure. So we're most engaged on Twitter, but we have content flowing across a number of social platforms: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. All of our standard social media channels have active content. Our most engaging is Twitter. We're also exploring new venues that we've only begun to dabble in, like Reddit, for example, and other platforms, Mastodon, trying to see where else we can build and start to grow a similar community to what we've had the success in here on Twitter. So
how did all of this sort of get started? Did you have a strategy going into it? I mean, you have a lot of creative freedom, I believe, on Twitter to do different things. So, how did you get some buy-in as well for doing all of that?
Well, we worked to develop a social media strategy somewhere around 2009 or 10. We worked with a great internal team here trying to figure out what place does social media have in our broader communication strategy as an organization. And so we brought senior staff along for the ride to help them understand this is just part of our outreach campaign and how we are going to go about serving our customers better. What we found is that over time, specifically in the last 5 or 6 years, our creativity and our willingness to engage outside of the normal bounds of what a utility may engage on, that has really helped to bring us a human side of our work that's allowed us to connect with residents, with customers, and with followers from across the country in a way that's unique. And so the buy-in that we had early on, getting their support to begin exploring with social media, they came along with us as we tried some new things and found some success along the way. And when they're hearing about our account at other events or other venues, it simply is showing that our work is resonating across the country, but we're most dedicated to serving our Cleveland and Northeast Ohio residents as customers, and whatever goes beyond that is a benefit to us.
And I imagine there weren't, when you started in 2009, there weren't many like public utility or any public government agency like doing what you're doing. So we were like, we're just going to try this. And they're like, okay. Did they look at you funny?
Yeah. Well, a little, I mean, there were definitely accounts that had a strong Twitter presence early on. DC Water was one of them. Kansas City, Missouri Water Department was also one of them. So there were utilities who were using Twitter well. And they started to kind of be able to joke with customers and followers in a way that was unique. But when we started to do it more recently, something was a little bit different, and it just caught some attention at the right time. And it has allowed us to simply make some connections in a new way with followers who might not have seen our account otherwise.
So how has that, strategy evolved over time? I mean, how are you coming up with, all these creative ideas? Like I said at the beginning, you're doing poetry, potty jokes, history lessons, educational information. And is this primarily you too, John, coming up?
It's primarily coming from me, but we do have a great following. We've got suggestions from followers. I have a great team here of coworkers in our communication department more broadly who support us being creative and provide ideas and suggestions and bodies for TikToks and all sorts of things. So the support we have internally and the number of employees who have content to share, whether they are photos from the field or suggestions for content or a space where we can record a video and bring them into it, that support goes a long way, and it comes from the relationships that we built internally. It didn't happen overnight. Most of our account growth in the recent years was because we began to move into more of the personality side of our work. We had a mascot account back when we started our NEORSD formal account around 2009 or 10. At the same time, we were managing a mascot account for our Wally Water Drop, sewer spokes drop, as we called him. The mascot still exists, but what made that account get some traction early on is because he had a personality. He could make jokes. He was kind of a human face, even though it was a character, to a work that is often going unseen. So we tried to transfer a lot of that humanity over to our official NEORSD account. And when that happened, we got some attention early on, and it just really started to evolve from there in a way that was productive. And we decided to maintain it and have been happy to see the community that has resulted from that type of engagement.
That's important right there. Personality, right? Mm-hmm. Having it there. So, and I think I want to kind of go through this. This kind of content to me, I'm going to pop this up here, is what sets you apart. So yeah, you're funny. Like, I don't know how many fun things I chuckled at over the weekend that you tweeted. But so in December 2021, you put out this tweet giving out a phone number, telling people to call for a personal special message from the sewer district and from you. And by the way, it still works because I called it last week to listen to it and make sure it was still there. And you encourage people to leave voicemail messages. And as you see here on the right, because you put this out again this past December, you got 900 messages from people. And I'm sure a lot of them were not customers. So like, where did this idea come from? Because like, who today says, here's a phone number, call it for a message, and the people actually called it. So. Right.
Well, the year before, at the end of the year, I actually went through and personally thanked each employee at the sewer district with his or her own unique tweet. And the thing is, I've been around. I've got 20 years worth of experience at the sewer district, so I knew a lot of those names, but I was realizing there's many more that I haven't met yet. But that sense of personal contribution to the work that goes on that serves more than 1 million residents. I wanted to make sure our employees felt that. So at the end of this year, I wanted to acknowledge the people who follow us, because as I knew, the following on Twitter was unique, and the community that's been built there is unique, and it can change on a whim. But what I wanted to do was to simply leave a personal message, but anybody could do a video. So I thought, let's just try something different. And our IT staff, one of our IT team members who always helps me out when I have crazy suggestions, I said, can we just set this mailbox up, send the voicemails to my email? Let's just see what happens. I just had this idea to see what was going to work. So we posted the link, we posted the phone number, and my phone did not stop buzzing with alerts for people leaving voicemails for that entire Friday and through the weekend. And it was humbling to realize that there was a real connection that we had made with people just by being honest, by thanking them for giving us their time. People don't have to stop on their phone at our content. I mean, people are literally competing with all sorts of other distractions on social media. So why would they give their attention to a Twitter account from Cleveland, Ohio, tweeting about pop culture and poop culture at the same time? But I wanted to thank them for being there, because they've helped to become ambassadors for our work in a way that was special and to me. So I simply posted the message, and to have the response coming in from our customers specifically saying, thank you for the work that you do for me as a resident. And to have other people calling from across the country saying, I never would have thought about infrastructure otherwise had I not been following your account. And the sense of a personal connection that they felt with our account and the emotion, there were literally people crying in the voicemail messages, which it just shocked me. But people were leaving those voicemails and talking through tears that demonstrated this doesn't happen everywhere. And the sense that we were able to reinforce the community that we serve goes beyond our customer base, but people are really benefiting from this just type of honest connection and an honest sense of responsibility to a system that is often overlooked and taken for granted. And that reality played itself out in this exchange on Twitter, but it was representative of a community that we have seen to grow and become ambassadors for the kind of work that matters.
Wow, that's amazing to me to get 900 voicemail messages in this day and age from
Agreed.
somebody.
I never expected it, but it was something that really just demonstrated that people wanted. They didn't know what to expect, and people wanted something different.
Mm-hmm.
And it just came really with a quick action from our IT team and being able to put it into action quickly. And most of our success that we've seen in one-off tweets and one-off engagements are something that we don't necessarily always strategize for. Part of our strategy is to simply be in the moment, be responsive, and go where the trends lead us. And in a time of challenge, especially coming out of COVID and during COVID, that human connection was something that was invaluable for us over the course of that time.
Wow, that's great. If you're just joining us, I'm chatting with John Gonzalez with the Northeast Ohio Sewer District about their awesome social media accounts, especially on Twitter. And I'm not sure, John, and if you have a question for John or a comment, please feel free to drop it in the chat and we'll try to get to it. I'm not sure how you are measuring ROI over there, but I want to pop up a few graphics here to give people out there an idea of what you what people think of you. So here we go. I may not live in Ohio any longer, but my heart will forever belong to the sewer system. Get you a sewer district that sees you. I love my sewer district. Honestly, this is the most profound account I follow. And yes, it's a sewer district. I'm not crying. You're crying, responding to one of John's tweets. This list is the best. Read the whole thread. My sewer district is better than your sewer district. Going on here, Celeste Ng, the novelist who actually grew up here in the Cleveland area. She says, I got to say my hometown sewer system's Twitter account is a genuine voice of humanity and reassurance is a sentence I didn't think I would ever write. And this person says, I'm currently emotional over a tweet from a sewer district that's not even in my own country. And this one's my favorite because I actually see this a lot on your account, John, is I've never been happier to pay my bill, my sewer and water bill in my life. So I mean, brands would die for this kind of loyalty and awareness. And I want to put this one up too, because this one you shared from an employee, which I also think is important. An employee emailed you and said, hopefully you can see that your thoughtful tweets have really impacted so many people. The humor is great and appreciated. Your human touch to the site has really been the best though. So I know that you clearly have figured out this magical mix for Twitter and social media, and you even said it here. So this is John's playbook, everyone. If you want to know how to do it well, he tweeted here. How did he do so well? The double R following this year: trends, being relevant; timing, being in the moment; transparency, making connections; two-way, being responsive; truthfulness, honesty, and humanity. So you can see more of the same over the year. So, I mean, how do you know what kind of, content's going to resonate, and what have you done this year or last year that did resonate so well and get so much engagement?
I think two of the things that got us a lot of attention. One was a reply to a Taco Bell mention about the fact that their pizza ingredients were backed up, and so they were making sure that people knew that at some point they were going to be bringing their pizza back and making it available. So I, in a spur of the moment, just simply replied to that tweet to say, "Well, we'll be ready when the time comes." And it wasn't something that I had retweeted. I wasn't intending it to blow up, but someone screenshotted it and posted it, and it was I had. Some of my kids and their friends were sending me links of where it was showing up in their Instagram feeds elsewhere. And it was just simply showed that we were, any tweet or any content we post, we want to be able to link back to our work. So any of those engagements I was able to take as an opportunity to let people understand why we would even tweet something like that, why it even mattered. So that was one thing that got us a lot of attention. And another was a one-off opportunity for us to reflect on the phase of life that so many students go through in the summer. It's the changing of moving from a graduating class into a new opportunity, whether it's college or graduating from college and moving the workforce or whatever the next phase of your life might be. And so we were able to pen a commencement address from our Twitter account, just with a series of a series of tweets. And it gave a lot of puns, but it was more or less a real reflection on everything you need to know in life. You actually probably could learn from a sewer district, because we are an essential service. We're there from the beginning. We're there until the end. And we are there to make the best of what other people might discard and try to give it new hope and new purpose and new life. And the reality was that also just hit it right at the right time. And people found it meaningful. They found it something that was worth them sharing. And so we like to create content that will make people think. We want them to pay attention to our work and be able to trust us to know when they have a question, we're going to give them an answer. But a lot of that comes from just simply being aware of where people are in life, meeting them where they are. And most of the time, they're not thinking about sewers, but they probably are thinking about something that is connected to infrastructure in some way. So why not meet them there and then hook them the next time they come back and see our content? They will definitely see our connection in a new way next time around.
That's a great strategy, actually. I mean, some of those tweets that people were talking about, I think the one you said, I know there's a lot of crap out there, but we're there for you or whatever. It was just something simple, but it was totally, I don't know. You're just doing great content, John.
All of us are going through something, and all of us are in a difficult spot right now. And no one thinks about infrastructure until there's a problem. But what we've been able to do is at least build some sense of trust between our customers, our followers, and me or whoever's helping to respond to their accounts or their questions, that we care about your issues. We care about being able to solve a problem if it's related to our service. But more importantly, we're happy to serve you as customers and as a service provider. So those connections as humans is really more important than anything else, because if we don't have that connection, then our sewer connections don't matter.
Mm-hmm. All right, this question now let's be honest. Infrastructure, though you've made it interesting, may not on the surface appear to be a boring service. And we hear this a lot especially from like B2B companies. Like we have a boring product, we have a boring service. And I had here, let me pull this up. Erica on my LinkedIn feed, kind of said the same thing. She says, I hope you can talk about how to replicate something similar to what they're doing, because she instills and her clients who ask about this, it's more about authenticity, and that they need to be themselves, which you kind of talked a lot about, to attract their particular tribe. So what do you say to people who are like, oh, it's too boring, I can't do it?
Well, I would say that it's not too boring. There's any number of ways to make connections with things. You have to just find what angle works for your agency, find what angle works for your business. More importantly, know who your audience is and what angle will work best for that audience. Some of the content we post on Twitter won't hit the same on LinkedIn, or it won't hit the same on Facebook. But the three things that will work on almost any platform is having a sense of humor, having a sense of humility, and having a sense of humanity. So if you can do those three things wherever you're going to have a voice, you can customize the content a little bit. But if you can have that same sense of humor, humility, or humanity, chances are you'll be able to build a decent following there. It might not be on every platform. It might just be because one size fits all won't work. We don't have a one size fits all solution. And you may have a very limited team. A lot of the utilities I talk to don't have a team of a dozen or half a dozen or even more than one. But if you can find a way to be present in a community that makes the most sense for your customers or your audience, build a presence there that they can trust and rely on and be responsive in. And if you can do that, it's a great place to start. And don't try to overcommit yourself. Pick one place where you can dedicate your full self. And if you do like what you do and you're in a space where you can put yourself into that work, I'm very fortunate and blessed that my organization allows me to use some of these poetry talents and just creative writing enjoyments that I have. I can apply it to this space, and it's been successful here. But if you have something or someone who has a talent that you can help people understand more about what you do, bring them to the table, get their ideas, maybe get their involvement, and try to find a way to capitalize on the skills that someone on your team might have that might not be right in your communications team. There's got to be someone else there who is a great storyteller, has a great experience, has a great personality. Let them work with you and work together to be able to push your message or share your content with an audience that cares.
And I think that you've probably, I know that you have, like, because of what you've done, you've been able to get like your employees on board to help like send you content, right? So now they're part of your content creators. So it's not just you. You can get, once you have them on board, they're sending you all kinds of stuff you're sharing.
Yeah, I mean, selfishly, I love when they send me content, and then when I know that when my phone buzzes with Josh or Al or Kevin or sending me something from the field, I'll know that it's good stuff that will have a lifespan moving forward on whatever platform it is. But the fact that they've come to trust, personally, I will say the fact they've come to trust me that I'm going to do what's best for this content, but more importantly, do what's right for the organization to give people a behind the scenes look at what it takes to take care of the environment, what it takes to keep people safe and healthy. They trust me that I'm going to put this in the right light, that people will see it and appreciate it. And the fact that they come to me with those ideas means a lot to me personally. And I think ultimately it's benefiting the organization as well. I've had people say that they have applied for jobs at the district or gotten a job with it because of something they saw on a Twitter account, because that it reflected something about an organization that they wanted to be a part of. And when I hear those things after the fact or in the moment, it moves me to say that those human connections go a long way, and you can't put that into a tweet metric. You just simply have to hear those anecdotes, and it's a powerful impression of what we're trying to establish.
Personally, you are on like all the time on Twitter. So how do you balance that? I know you enjoy it, but you are very responsive, and it seems like on a lot. Does that get overwhelming, or do you enjoy it so much that, and I don't think you have any like your own personal account, so maybe that helps too.
I do use it as an extension of my personality. And I think if I was working in a customer service department, or if I'm in the department I work on now, if I get an email from someone after hours, I do want to be responsive, at least try to acknowledge it and understand what the need is and how I can be a part of a solution. But on Twitter, I think the responsiveness, especially after hours, has been part of what's made our account so successful. If I'm going to tweet content at 11:30 at night, or I'm going to respond to a customer's direct message at 7:30 at night or 5:30 in the morning, it reiterates the fact that we're a real organization with real people that care about your real problems, whatever they might be. And so it can be at times, especially if I'm on vacation or if I'm not in the moment. I do have a great colleague who is willing to participate and be a part of that Twitter engagement. But it is an extension of myself, and so I take those engagements personally, and I actually make it part of my obligation as a communications manager to engage where those opportunities are most suitable. And it's not always between 9 to 5. It does come after hours as part of what we do.
Mm-hmm. All right. So one final question here, and John and I were chatting about this beforehand, but as we all know, the platforms are constantly changing. We have no idea what's going to happen with Twitter. That's where you've built a lot of your following. So where are you focusing your efforts on in 2023? Any changes to your plans or strategy?
We are trying to, like I said, we're trying to explore other venues just to simply recognize that that platforms change. We own our website, and other than that, most of these other platforms we use, we go there because customers are there, and we want to be present in the space where our customers are. If you're looking for us in other places, we do have a link tree, and it's /NEORSD. On Linktree, you can see all of our current accounts. You can also link to our job openings. You can link to our website. You can link to cost-saving opportunities if you're a customer looking for ways to save on your sewer bill. So our Linktree /NEORSD is a great place to go to find where we're going to be at present. We are exploring other places, like I said, on Reddit and Mastodon, seeing where else we can bring customers over and have content that's relevant to them. But we certainly, in the new year, we have a podcast called the Clean Water Works Podcast. We talk to employees about their stories and help to connect customers with an aspect of the people doing this work that they don't often hear from. And so those storytelling opportunities and the people that we have been speaking to since September in a podcast every other week is a great way to learn more about our organization. We want to connect where customers are, and we have the freedom and the ability to kind of explore some things. And so that's what we're really focusing on this year, exploring our podcast further, having a presence in other platforms where it makes sense. But most of all, just staying committed to being responsive. If customers want to reach us or need to reach us, our Linktree NEORSD is a good place to start and see where we're active and engaged and available.
Well, thank you so much, John, for your time. I don't know if I think it's a combination of both what I've seen you do on Twitter and because my husband's a civil engineer, but I am fascinated by infrastructure now. So like anytime you show me like behind the scenes in the tunnel, like what's going on down there, I am fascinated. I think you had something about a scuba diver who went to find an employee who was a scuba diver, and he went to find the door that fell out. Like,
yep.
You have so many great stories to tell, content. I love it. I enjoy. If you don't follow the Northeast Ohio Sewer District, John's got the handle on there. He just told us where to find you. I so appreciate the time. Thank you for sharing it with us. I hope you all can see why I fangirl the Northeast Ohio Sewer District social page. So thanks so much, John. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and have a great week. See you, John.
Thank you very much, Amanda.